tone of their response about this particular petition, it reeks of animosity. And you understand why the pair are polling so poorly globally. I mean, it just sounded so bitter. Stay home with your kids. It doesn't sound like Australia wants you.
Meghan Markle is reportedly heated right now, and word is she snapped at Australians after a petition started gaining traction against her upcoming visit to the country. What was supposed to be a smooth trip has turned into a full-blown drama, and people are not holding back.
A spokesperson for the Duke and Duchess has said, and this is where I don't think they're quite picking up what we're putting down, said, quote, "It's a moot point. The trip is being funded privately, so I'm not sure what this petition hopes to achieve."
Critics keep repeating the same line. Where there's money involved, Meghan always finds her way there, and this situation is only adding more noise to that claim. Even with thousands of signatures piling up and public pushback getting louder, she's not stepping away from the spotlight. Instead of canceling, she's pushing forward, and her response has people talking even more than before, with some calling it defensive and others calling it bold. Now it's already April, and Meghan is getting ready to head to Australia for a wellness event hosted by her friend Gamma O'Neill, and this is where things start to look even messier.
But the issue you've got, as I intimated earlier, the couple need money, Caleb. They do have a few $1 million in the bank, but they're getting through the cash very quickly. They've got security costs. They've got a mortgage on that Montecito mansion, and the income is diminishing. I mean,
reports claim Gamma herself is dealing with financial issues, which has only made people question the timing and purpose of this event. Tickets are reportedly going for thousands, not hundreds, and that's just the start. Attendees are expected to drop even more cash just to snap group photos with Meghan and sit through motivational talks that critics say might not even be worth the price tag. Some people are straight up saying the whole thing feels more like a cash grab than a genuine wellness experience. Still, Meghan doesn't seem bothered at all by the backlash, at least on the surface.
36,000 brave souls, and I'm proud to say, as a patriotic Australian souls have signed a petition calling for Harry and Meghan's tour of Australia to be deprived of all public.
This event is being seen as a major chance for her to pull attention back in her favor, rebuild her image, and bring in some serious income at the same time. Lately, her popularity hasn't been as strong as it once was, and this trip looks like a strategic move to change that. For her, this isn't just another appearance. It's a shot at getting back into the spotlight and securing her position again, both financially and publicly. But here's the twist. Australians are not having it.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have criticised an online petition ahead of their trip to Australia next month. More than 35,000 people have signed the form saying security and logistics for the pair's tour should not be taxpayer funded. A spokesperson for the Duke and Duchess of Sussex responded saying the trip is being privately funded.
A lot of citizens are speaking up, making it clear they don't want any taxpayer money going toward what they describe as two runaway royals. That frustration quickly turned into action, and before long, a petition started gaining serious momentum. Thousands jumped in, signing their names and demanding that no government resources be used at all during Harry and Meghan's visit, and the numbers kept climbing fast. At first, sources say Meghan brushed it off like it was nothing. Just another wave of online chatter that would fade away. But that didn't happen. The signatures kept rising, the conversation kept growing, and suddenly this wasn't something she could ignore anymore.
Poorly globally. I mean, it just sounded so bitter. Stay home with your kids. It doesn't sound like Australia wants you.
Her team reportedly got caught off guard by how quickly the situation escalated, and that's when Meghan finally responded publicly. Her reaction was described as firm, but also a bit frustrated. She made it clear that the trip is a private visit, saying it's fully privately funded and organized and that taxpayers shouldn't be concerned at all. But critics weren't convinced. Many people are saying that this explanation only came after the pressure got too big to ignore, and they believe she was trying to clean things up once public opinion started turning against her.
Some wags have started up this petition. They're saying, we don't want you here, but the petition demands that no taxpayer funding or official support is provided for Harry and Meghan's private visit to Australia.
The whole situation has people debating whether this is damage control or just a misunderstanding that spiraled out of control. Trying to cool things down, Meghan reportedly brushed off the petition like it didn't matter, calling it pointless and saying that since the trip is privately funded, people signing against it just doesn't make sense. But that response didn't land the way she probably expected, and instead of calming things, it made people even more frustrated and confused. Then things took an even stranger turn when her spokesperson came out with a claim that had people raising eyebrows everywhere.
Vote. I mean, you can't get more sort of out of touch or out of tune with how Australia is than to think, oh, I'm going to stand up for women's rights and talk about my, my plight and my fight for freedom with Jackie O. It's so unserious. It is so unserious. And I used to have maybe a shred of respect for them. Now it's totally gone.
They argued that because only a small number of Australians signed the petition, the remaining 26.5 million people, basically 99.9% of the population, must support taxpayers covering any costs tied to the visit. Yes, that's actually the argument being pushed, and people online were quick to call it out as completely off track. By that same logic, if you haven't signed a petition against something, you must fully support it, right? That idea alone had critics shaking their heads. Think about it like this. If you didn't sign a petition against pineapple on pizza, does that mean you're suddenly a huge fan of it?
As part of their official tour, Harry and Meghan also took a trip to the Sydney Opera House, where thousands of well-wishers gathered to meet the couple. The Duke and Duchess made special time for one royal enthusiast, who's now met the prince 3 times.
Of course not. But that's exactly why people are saying this argument doesn't hold up. The reality is most people aren't sitting around signing petitions all day. They're busy with work, family, responsibilities, and a million other things. A lot of people don't even see these petitions in the first place, so using that as proof of support just doesn't add up, and that point has been getting repeated across social media. Now, the petition itself came from an advocacy group called Beyond Australia, and even they admitted they were caught off guard by how suddenly this visit was announced. According to the organizers, this isn't an official royal tour at all. It's a private commercial trip, and they believe it should be treated that way. No exceptions. Their concern is that even if it's labeled private,
he has lost a legal challenge over changes made by the UK government to his publicly funded security arrangements. This following his decision to step down from royal duties with his wife Meghan. Harry had sought to overturn a decision that would take away his automatic personal police security while in Britain. The High Court in London upheld the ruling last year.
There's still a chance politicians or government officials might get involved in welcoming the couple, which could quietly lead to public money being used. Their stance is pretty direct. If Harry and Meghan stepped away from royal duties, then they shouldn't receive any of the benefits that come with those roles, especially when the visit is tied to private profit instead of public service. That's the line they're drawing, and they're sticking to it. Another big issue fueling the backlash is the current economic pressure many Australians are dealing with right now. People are facing rising grocery prices, expensive fuel, increasing mortgage stress, and higher energy bills, and it's hitting hard. Because of that, many feel the government should be focusing on real everyday struggles instead of putting attention or any resources toward high-profile visitors connected to pricey events. For a lot of those signing the petition, this isn't even about Meghan personally. It's about protecting public funds during a time when many households are already stretched thin.
She's not going to turn up. Apparently the hotel, they've barely even finished the swimming pool. Right. So it's a complete sort of building site.
So they're basically going there probably, and the pay of the people who developed the wellness centre to bring some publicity to the wellness centre so they can do some business. I bet you that's what it is.
That's why the movement has picked up speed. It's tapping into a much bigger concern about priorities and spending, and people haven't forgotten the past either. Back in 2018, right after their wedding, Harry and Meghan visited Australia for an official royal tour, and the istiqbal was huge. They were welcomed with open arms, given full royal treatment, including police escorts, official housing, and heavy security, all of which reportedly cost taxpayers a significant amount. At the time, they were active members of the royal family, and the public response was overwhelmingly positive, which makes the current situation feel even more complicated and divided.
Sounds great. It promises yoga, sound, healing, dinners by the pool, a disco night. Okay. Here's what's really going on at the Intercontinental. It is under extensive renovations. The swimming facility, which I'm going to guess includes the pool. These fancy words. Swimming facility, it's a pool. Spa, leisure deck, due for completion in April.
Now, critics are saying things are completely different compared to before, and they're not wrong to point that out. Back then, Harry and Meghan were official members of the royal family. But now they've stepped away from those duties, and that changes everything.
They're the mysterious black balls now closing even more of our favourite beaches. Thousands of pieces of debris from the size of marbles to tennis balls originally detected at Coogee Beach on Tuesday.
They no longer represent the monarchy in any formal way. And because of that, many Australians feel there's no reason for them to receive the same level of treatment they got in 2018. Some even believe the couple might be trying to recreate that same royal stylistic bell, and that's exactly what supporters of the petition are trying to shut down before it even starts. One of the biggest concerns hanging over this whole situation is security. And right now, there are still a lot of unanswered questions. Harry and Meghan are dealing with ongoing legal battles over their security arrangements, and reports claim their protection costs are extremely high. That's where the worry kicks in. People are concerned that local or federal authorities could end up covering parts of those costs, even if it's not made public right away. That uncertainty alone has been enough to push more Australians to speak out, because nobody seems to have a clear answer on who is actually paying for what. When officials were asked directly whether any level of government would step in to help with security, the responses were vague and unclear, which only made things worse. The lack of transparency has fueled suspicion, and more people started backing the petition because of it. Meanwhile, Meghan continues to insist that no public money will be used at all, but critics aren't fully convinced, and the debate just keeps getting louder. The wellness retreat itself is set to run from April 17th to April 19th, with around 300 guests expected to attend, and it's being marketed as a high-end, exclusive experience. Packages reportedly include VIP access, front-row seating, private sessions, and group photo opportunities with Meghan, all designed to make the event feel premium. Organizers are saying it's completely sold out, but not everyone is buying that story, and new concerns have started popping up about whether the venue is even ready to host something like this. Reports suggest that maintenance work is still happening at the hotel, and some of the main features aren't even finished yet. The infinity pool is reportedly incomplete. Spa areas and leisure docks are still under construction, and parts of the beachfront have allegedly been affected by environmental issues locals refer to as poo balls, which have been linked to unpleasant smells along. That detail alone has had critics online making jokes, saying guests might end up to a luxury wellness retreat while literally trying to avoid the smell just to get through the day. All of that, just for the chance to take one photo with Meghan Markle, and people are seriously questioning whether it's worth it. Still, despite all the backlash, the concerns, and the unfinished setup, Meghan has reportedly confirmed she will be attending the event no matter what. Observers say this decision only strengthens the belief that stepping away isn't really an option for her right now, especially when it comes to appearances tied to major financial opportunities. With fewer consistent public projects and deals compared to before, events like this might be more important than ever behind the scenes. Now the big question is, was her response simply her defending herself against criticism, or are Australians right to question the entire situation? What do you think about all this? Are Australians justified in pushing back, or is this being blown out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more updates.